Mr. Harris, if he would begin.
I served in the United States Navy for 4.5 years during the war. Toward the end of the war, I was assigned for special duty with the Office of Strategic Services. That was the OSS, the forerunner of the CIA. And at that time, OSS was a cloak and dagger outfit. They dropped men behind the lines and tried to disrupt communication and so forth. I received all this training on the use of weaponry and so on. One thing I did learn in my training, though, was the German intelligence system. And after I completed this training, I was sent by OSS in charge of the investigation of war crimes in the European theater. So I established offices in St. James, close by British intelligence, and obtained many good incriminating documents for British intelligence, which I sent back to OSS. In June 1945, Justice Jackson came to London and set up offices at Mount Street. At that time, he and the small staff that he had were engaged in negotiating with the other Allied powers the terms of the agreement for the prosecution of the major German war criminals before an international military tribunal. When I found good documents, incriminating documents, I used to take them up to Mount Street and give them to Murray Bernays and somebody else on the staff up there. They were at that time long on theory, but a little bit short on evidence, so I was very welcome. They were glad to see me come in with these documents. So in August, after the agreement had been negotiated, Justice Jackson moved his operations, his staff, to Nuremberg. I decided I'd just come along. And after all, the war was over, OSS couldn't do me any harm, and I was working for the Navy, being paid by the Navy anyway. So I went down to Nuremberg, and they gave me a billet along with Andy Wheeler and Frank Wallace, who were from Boston area, and everything was fine, and I was enjoying myself. And at this time, Colonel Story, who was Justice Jackson's executive trial counsel, having heard that I knew something about German intelligence systems, said, well, would you prepare the case against Ernst Kaltenbrunner and the Gestapo and SD? Because the whole repressive agencies of the German government were under the intelligence system of the state, the RSHA. So, of course, I was happy to do that. And they gave me a little office in the Palace of Justice right by a gaping hole which Allied artillery had made in the building, and gave me a little typewriter and a German secretary. First thing I did, of course, was to go to our document center. Colonel Story had collected these documents, as you said, Alan, PS, that meant Paris Story, and brought them to Nuremberg, and I had my documents there too, I guess. They were being translated from time to time. One of the documents I found there was a very interesting letter. It was written by a man named Beckers to a man by the name of Walter Rout, who was in charge of motor vehicles in Op 2 of the RSHA. This letter from Becker complained about the functioning of a gas van which he was operating in the Eastern Territories. And it was written from an Einsatz commando. Well, of course, at that time I had no idea about any Einsatz commandos or anything else which had happened at the Eastern Front. But this was shortly before the opening of the trial. I learned that British intelligence had taken Otto Ohlendorf, a man by the name of Otto Ohlendorf, a prisoner, and they were interrogating him in London. Ohlendorf was the head of Op 3 of the RSHA. This was German intelligence inside Germany. I had no idea that Ohlendorf would have shed any light upon war crimes, but I thought it would be useful to bring him down to Nuremberg and interrogate him so that I could find out a little bit more about this organization, which my defendant was the chief, and developed the lines of command. They sent him down, and I started interrogating Ohlendorf, and my first question, of course, was, well, what was your experience with the SD? He said, well, I was made the chief of the SD inside Germany, Op 3 of the RSHA, and I except for the year 1941. So I said, well, what did you do in the year 1941? Well, he said, in 1941, I was the chief of Einsatzgruppen D. That flashed in my mind Becker's letter. I remember that word, Einsatzkommando. So I was inspired in the next question, which was, well, Ohlendorf, how many men, women, and children did you kill that year? And he responded, 90,000. And that broke the case as far as the Einsatzgruppen were concerned. From then on, Ohlendorf was my witness, and we were able to develop just how the 4 Einsatzgruppen, of course, Einsatzkommandos were sections under the Einsatzgruppen, function in the Eastern Territory with a mission of rounding up all the Jews and gypsies and other unwanted persons and murdering them in the fields and burying them in anti-tank ditches. When we prepared our case, we of course made trial briefs supported by document books. These were read into the record by the tribunal and constituted the basis of our affirmative case. At the end of the trial, we had tried 6 organizations for the purpose of having them declared criminal. These were the leadership corps of the party, which was found criminal, the Gestapo and SD, which is my organization, that was found criminal, the SS was found criminal. 3 organizations, the SA and the Reich Cabinet and the High Command were not found to be criminal. On the other side of the 22 defendants who appeared before the tribunal, including Martin Bormann, who was tried in absentia, 3 were acquitted. 7 received varying terms of imprisonment, and of course 12 were sentenced to death. That includes Bormann. After those who were sentenced to death were given the right to appeal to the Allied Control Council. All appealed except my defense.